Welcome to another edition of the Dinner Table Project. Tonight we have a student, Abby Grimes from Lakewood Elementary, and her stepmom, Stephanie Grimes, who is also the Creekside cafeteria manager. So we are very, very happy to have both of you tonight. And you all will be making what kind of casserole?
Burrito casserole.
Burrito casserole. And at this point, what I will do is turn it over to Tony so she can present a present to the family.
First, I would like to introduce myself again. I'm Tony Williams here at the Hardin County Extension Office, SNAP Ed Assistant, where we deal with nutrition and other great things going on inside this office. But I wanted to thank Ms. Stephanie and Abigail for coming out tonight and doing such a wonderful job on the burrito casserole. It covered all of the 5 food groups except for the fruit part, which you can add later on, your preference of choice. But right now I wanted to present to them just some little incentives for coming out tonight and participating and being part of the dinner table project. And also I wanted to make mention that, you know, with COVID going on, it had plenty of vegetables in there. Increase your intake in vegetables and fruit and drink plenty of water.
I'm Stephanie Grimes. This is Abigail Grimes, my daughter, and tonight we're going to be making burrito casserole. We got all of our ingredients here. We've already previously washed our hands. Make sure and at least do it for 20 seconds. That way we get all those little germs off. We don't want all, have a bunch of dirt and everything. So tonight, mainly, what you're going to have is you need a pretty deep skillet. At least have a good spatula. A quarter measuring cup, spoon, and you're going to need a knife to be able to cut up your tomatoes or any other toppings that you may like, a baking dish also, and your pan spray. For your ingredients, Abby, you want to show the ingredients? You need a pound of hamburger. You will need a can of refried beans. You will need a can of cream of mushroom. You will need a quarter cup of sour cream. You will also need a pack of taco seasoning. You will need tortillas. You can use the large, which that's what I have here. You can also use medium size, will also work fine too, because we're going to tear those up as we're doing it along. Also, you need your shredded cheese. We have Kobe Jack cheese shredded, but you can use regular shredded cheddar cheese if you would like. And then for our toppings, we have shredded lettuce, our tomatoes, and then we also have some extra sour cream and stuff. And if you would prefer salsa or anything like that, it just depends on how spicy you would like yours. You can do hot sauce, you can do a number of things with it, jalapenos or whatever you would like. All right, so we're going to get started. First of all, we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. You want to push the bake button, hit start. So while that's preheating, we're going to get started with the cooking of the hamburger. We need to turn on just around medium. With my oven at home, it's between, I don't know, around 4 or 6 or so on the little knob or whatever. Just make sure and get it pretty warm. You want to tear open the hamburger? Okay, I'm going to dump that out into there. All right, we're going to cook up our hamburger. Make sure and get it all browned up with no pink in it. You don't have to temp it or anything. Just make sure it's real good and done. Also, too, when you're cooking your hamburger, I do not like to put any type of grease down in my sink or anything whenever you're draining it. So when you go to drain your hamburger, make sure and have you also a colander, and a glass bowl works best for catching the grease. You can use a plastic bowl, but plastic does absorb grease. So just remember that if you plan to use the bowl anymore, glass is easier for it to clean out and it hardens up a lot faster so you can dispose of it in the trash can. Okay, well, while our hamburger is cooking, we're going to go ahead and do a next step. You also need a small bowl to mix together your sour cream and your cream of mushroom. You go ahead and dump that in. And anytime that you are peeling back lids off of any type of cans or whatever, make sure and put the lid down inside the inside of the can. That way, taking out the trash and stuff, you're less likely to get cut. Make sure and get you a 1/4 cup of sour cream. We're going to set this over to the side because we'll use that for our toppings in a little while. Then we're going to mix that together. I'll let you mix that, and we'll continue to serve the hamburger. Just make sure it's mixed really, really well. There you go. This is one of Abby's favorites. She loves this burrito casserole. So if you could give one gift to everybody in the world, what would it be?
Probably money.
Money?
Money.
Well, what did you all do yesterday at school? With them being on the AB schedule, she is on the A schedule. So she was in school yesterday, and she goes Thursday of this week.
We took a math test and a social studies test.
Oh.
Pretty boring.
You didn't learn anything new in social studies?
We learned about what cash crops are.
What are they? Yeah.
It's an indigo plant from a 16-year-old girl that brought it to England, I think.
Mm-hmm.
From England, it was an indigo plant that turned stuff blue because back then they only had white stuff. And another cash crop is tobacco and corn and stuff like that.
And I've shared stories with you about tobacco. So we had a lot of those fun ones. My favorite was setting the tobacco. What did I tell you I like to do? You remember what I told you I like to do when I like setting tobacco?
Play with the tobacco worms?
No.
Well, you did like to do that.
You could kick the wheel around when you were setting the tobacco and you make the perfect mud ball off the wheel.
Even when preparing the dish that they're doing, if we look at it, we can see that we are touching all 5 of the food groups in this. We got our vegetables, we got our dairy, we got our grain. We got our bean, which is protein, and all of the 5 food groups are being met with this particular dish, except for the fruit, which you can have some stewed apples or fruit.
You can have a fruit cobbler. You can have angel food cake and make your own strawberry topping.
So everything in this dish is covering all of the important components except for the fruit, which is a good thing because we need more fruits and vegetables with the way things are going with COVID to boost our immune system.
Yes, yes.
So that's all I had to add.
So now with the hamburger all being real good and brown here, we're going to drain it in the colander. And like I said, make sure and have you a glass bowl underneath, and it just works a lot better at catching your grease and stuff. And now you're going to reuse your skillet, so don't put your skillet away in the sink or anything just yet, because you will be mixing up some more in it. And that's another good thing, like it don't really take a whole lot of stuff to make this dish, and it's something, and it will feed, by the time we are done, it will feed at least, I have 5 in our family, and I still have leftovers usually. So we're going to dump that back into the skillet, and then we're done with that. We'll just set it here to the side. Don't put it back on the burner that was currently on because it still may be hot enough to actually start cooking it some more, and you don't want that to happen right now. Okay, we're going to take our taco seasoning. You want to rip that open? We're going to pour it in here with our hamburger. Okay, now we're going to stir it around real good in here. Make sure you do not have to add water, even though it says on the back of the package to add water when making taco meat. Do not add water to this because you're going to add it in your refried beans, and it's just not something that is needed for this because it's going to be more of a casserole dish than it is anything. Okay, after it's really good and mixed around and all, and make sure it's all evenly spread around, now we're going to add in our refried beans. Be careful if you are, like I said, removing any type of lids. If you lay them to the side, just make sure that you always put the lid down inside of the can afterwards so that way it does not cut you later on. Okay, now we're going to mix in together the refried beans and our taco meat that we had. Now, I can still use a spatula some for this, but I'll probably have to go to using the spoon more just to get it more mixed in together. Are you excited about the guinea pigs?
Yes.
You are. What are you going to name them? Wilbur?
No.
Oh, George.
No.
Spike.
No.
I like Spike. So she hasn't got to see him yet, but one of them has a white stripe right down the middle of his head, and I said he would look like Spike.
I don't know. I haven't really thought of a name yet.
I'll just call it Wilbur. All right, after you have it all really mixed in together really good, make sure it's, where you can actually smooth it out and stuff. So make sure you have any lumps out of there from the refried beans and stuff. All right, Abby, you want to keep mixing that a little bit for me?
Sure.
While she's mixing that, I'm going to go ahead and spray her pan down real good. You can use the 9x13 baking dish. I use a lot of glass pans whenever baking. You can use metal or whatever that you prefer. I always just like to spray everything so it doesn't stick as bad. And I'm also very particular about holding up the pan and stuff whenever I'm spraying, so that way it don't go into the floor and it won't be as likely to slip and fall on it. Okay, is it mixed really good?
Yes.
Okay, so next we're going to take our favorite mixture here that Miss Abby mixed up for us. And you're only going to take half of this, and we're going to put it in the bottom. We're going to smear it down, smear it all the way down into the bottom here real good. Now it might look like it's not spreading real good, but it will once it starts baking. It'll be smeared out really good. She had no idea. This is one of her favorite meals, and I did not think this through. None of the kids like cream of mushroom. None of them knew there was cream of mushroom in this recipe whatsoever. Every one of them ate it, and nobody said a word. And I'm like, whoops.
You can't taste it.
Yes, you cannot taste it, so there's a plus. So now we're going to put the tortillas down. Go ahead and grab you one.
Just lay it down.
You're going to lay it down flat. Sort of press it down a little bit into it. All right, and you're going to take another one, and it's going to come more over on this side. Press it down really good. Then you're going to take a third tortilla, and here's the thing with this. So what I do is I fold it over in half, and after it is folded over in half, then you can rip it pretty easy. I mean, it might go a little crooked, but usually they tear down pretty easy. And then you're going to fold it again, just to where the round is right there on the flat edge. You're going to rip that off. Then you're going to take this piece, and it goes there. Then you're going to take your rounded piece, you're going to tear it in half, and it goes right here in the corners. Do the same with this one. Now your layers, they can look different. Some people shred them all up together or whatever, and this is how it's looking so far. Okay, now we're going to take half of our hamburger and bean mixture, and we're going to spread it in here. If you want to use a little bit less than half because you want the top layer to really have it on there. This will make 2 layers. You want to go ahead and open us up some cheese?
Sure.
Now I know usually you use about 3 to 4 cups of cheese or whatever. If you really, really love cheese, I mean, you can pour it to it, or if you just want a little bit of light cheese, that's fine also. It's more, I think, for decorative purposes, but it really helps hold it together. All right, you want to sprinkle some cheese on there?
Yes.
Yeah, and just sort of take, and if you get any piles of it, just sort of spread it out. There you go. All right, and then we're going to repeat the layer all over again. So the rest of your sour cream and stuff that you have, make sure and get all that out of there. Spread it around on top of the cheese. All right. Now you're going to put the other layer of tortillas on top. Sort of push it down a little bit. Like I said, and you can rip them any way that you want to. It's just to cover all the sides of the pan. All right. Then you're going to take the rest of your hamburger and bean mixture. Make sure and spread it out real good. If your tortillas go to sliding on you a little bit, just sort of take and hold them down a little bit, and then they'll eventually quit moving.
Put the cheese on the top.
Yeah, we're going to put more cheese on top. And this is another thing too. With this dish here, you do not have to cover it. You can actually put it in uncovered. It takes anywhere from about 25 to 30 minutes. With any type of casserole that you also do, make sure and if you want to temp it, that's fine if you do have a thermometer. If not, but casseroles, I always like to normally temp those out at 165. But most people, they just go off of what it looks like. But usually after about 30 minutes, it's really good. All right, I'm going to put some more cheese on there. Put you a little bit more. All right, so our finished product right now should look like this right before we put it into the oven. Like I said, you do not have to cover it or anything like that. You can put it in just like that and set your timer. Here in just a few minutes, while that's in there baking, we're going to use our cutting board to dice up our tomatoes. And if we got some shredded lettuce already, but if you need to, you can always buy whole head lettuce and shred it up also, or any other toppings that you would prefer. Now we're going to cut up our tomatoes.
Make sure to wash them.
Yes. That's what you're going to say. Make sure and wash them. Now when dicing the tomatoes and stuff, make sure, I dice mine a certain way. You need to dice them in whatever way you're comfortable with. But for safety purposes, you need to really dice them on the cutting board. Think you'd ever want to grow a garden?
Yes.
Grow tomatoes?
No.
No?
I want to grow fruit.
Fruit. Okay. What kind of fruit you want to grow?
Strawberries, watermelons, blueberries. The only vegetable I would grow would probably be carrots or potatoes, maybe. I don't even like potatoes, but I would grow them.
She don't like potatoes either. Okay, we now have our tomatoes diced up. And as far as our lettuce, we'll just open it up here in just a few minutes. After you finish baking it for 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there, and like I said, you can also temp it. Take it out, and this should be what your finished product should look like. If you like a little bit more cheese, feel more free to add more cheese if you would like to, and it'll melt right along with it.
Make sure to let it sit for 5 minutes before you add your toppings and cut it.
You can use the knife that you had used also for the tomatoes. I always cut it down the middle. Cut it down the middle, and then also down the middle long ways, and then cut those in half as well. If you are using the cream of mushroom, which is what I use for this recipe, if you're allergic to mushrooms or something like that, you can also substitute it, and you can use a nacho cheese that comes in the can. But I would try and stick, with a cream base one way or another, that way that everybody can enjoy it. All right, you're going to take it out and serve it out.
This is what it should look like, and then you can add your toppings.
Go ahead and add you some lettuce. some tomatoes. Okay, and do you want sour cream?
Yes, sure. Exactly.
There you go. And this is what it should look like whenever you're finished. You can also add jalapeno, salsa, hot sauce, any type of your favorite toppings that you would like.
Here at the Extension office, we always have, you know, with COVID going on, we had to come up with new ways of getting ideas out to the community for as help-wise and keeping the kids entertained and busy. So for the next month or so, you can look on the website, the Hardin County Facebook page, and they have a list of everything that's going on. I have one that's coming up. It's a no soda challenge. We're gonna be drinking water for X amount of days. And with that, you will see how much sugar you have given up for a month. And then look at the other side of it, how much weight that you have lost since you have not been drinking soda throughout the day. So that'll be on the Facebook page also, so you can look at that and get some ideas. We're gonna have some cool incentives, things for you for participating. And then at the end of the challenge, we have a grand presentation of things to give out to you. So keep a lookout on the Hardin County Extension page for things to come and things that are going on now. Thank you.
So in conclusion, I would like to thank you again for participating with this session of the Dinner Table Project. Remember, the point of the Dinner Table Project is to sit down at least one night a week with your family, put all of your electronic devices in this box, and have conversations. Find out about one another. Find out how their day went. You can go on the website and get ideas on recipes for your family for future nights. You can also get talking points. This is broken down to be a newsletter once a month for not just elementary age children, but your middle school and high school. Obviously, you're not going to ask a high schooler the exact same thing you would a kindergartner. So they have some talking points and suggestions for your upper level classmen as well. So also, I would like to encourage you to contact your Family Resource or Youth Service Center, especially on those schools that are participating. If you'd like to come and share your family recipe and you're not hesitant about being filmed, you do get great incentives. We absolutely loved having the Grimes family here this evening, and I think they enjoyed themselves. May even want to come back and do another meal or dessert, which we are all game for that. Dessert, appetizers, anything and everything. We will video, and I definitely like being the taste tester. So you have a good evening. And once again, if you have any questions, please call the Family Resource or Youth Service Center at your child's school. Thank you.